What's up, guys? I'm JJ,
I'm Angel.
and this is PM Football. We're 12 weeks through the NFL season, and these coaches' seats are getting warmer and warmer. Today, we're going to go through the five coaches that are on the hottest seats and most likely to get fired.
Yeah. Like you said, there's 5 coaches. There's already 2 open vacancies. So right now we're just gonna go over who the coaches are, what the teams are, and how we would kind of approach that vacancy.
Yeah, and who, like you said, who we think would fit best in that situation.
Or what type of coach
or
would
what
fit
type
best.
of coach.
Exactly.
Yeah. So we're gonna open it up. We'll start with the open vacancies. We got the Jets.
Yeah. I mean, they're just a hot mess right now. It's kind of embarrassing. Not kind of. It is embarrassing, honestly. This one's tough because
you just fire your GM.
You fired your GM, and if the reports coming out are true, looks like Aaron Rodgers isn't going to be there next year. At this point, you need someone who could just establish culture.
Yeah.
At this point.
Now, to be fair, I think we're going to say that about every team.
You know what? That's fair, but I feel like this one especially, like,
you kind of went all in this year, kind of.
Yeah.
So you're going to have to get out of some cap space. You're going to have to do some cap space maneuvering.
Yeah. I really don't know what to say. It's so hard to figure out what to say for this because we don't know who the quarterback is, how they're going to approach the quarterback situation.
All right, let's make this simple then. You draw up your scenario of what you want it to look like. Say you're Woody Johnson. What do you want to happen for the Jets next year? Who's starting a quarterback, and which coach do you want to bring in?
I guess at this point, like, where do you think they'd fall in the first round in the draft?
Right now, I think they're sitting around 10.
I'm not drafting a quarterback at 10. Maybe in other draft classes I would.
Now, to be fair, I think the second or first, maybe not the first, second or third best quarterback is sitting there at 10.
I don't know. It depends how hungry teams are for a QB. Like, it just really all depends. Because
Giants are going to be looking for one for sure. We're not
Raiders.
We're jumping the gun a little bit because
Yeah.
we're going to talk about these teams. But what would you do? You sticking with Tyrod Taylor and just hoping to tank, or you bringing in like why not giving a Bryce Young a chance or
No, I don't think mentally he could handle.
You know what?
New York.
Bring Sam Darnold home.
No, you can't do that. You can't do that. You know what? I would kind of. I was going to say kind of approach it like the Patriots, but I don't even think that would be good because at least the Patriots drafted someone early in the draft. And I wouldn't do that. Honestly, I would find a veteran guy.
You have him.
I'm not getting Tyrod, dude. I mean,
why not? Cheap. You use those assets in the draft to build with a guy like Tyrod. I'm not saying Tyrod's any world beater, but he will get the guy right.
Okay, so all right, so let's go that route. Let's say you get a veteran QB.
Mm-hmm.
Now, who do you hire as a coach? Because this is what this video is all about.
Yes.
Who's going to be the coach? You get Tyrod as your starter for next year. Who's your coach?
Who's yours? You're in the scenario right now.
Like I said, I would want a guy who I know could just completely flip that culture.
If I'm the Jets, first person I'm giving a call, and I think
I know you go Sam Leonino right now.
I was going to preface this by saying I think this is going to be every team's first call.
He's not taking this job.
It's Bill Belichick.
He's not taking
every
this
team's
job.
calling Bill Belichick. Second call, I'm calling Mike Vrabel.
You know what? I think Mike Vrabel would actually be a pretty good hire for the Jets, if I'm being honest.
Now, would I be scared because you're going from a defensive guy in Saleh to another defensive guy in Vrabel? I'd be a little nervous.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty similar coaching styles.
However, I will say Vrabel has the great advantage of he's already been in this situation.
And he's a player's coach.
Exactly. And I'm not saying Saleh wasn't a player's coach. I think he was.
Vrabel was a player, so he understands it a lot more.
Yeah, but Saleh, this was his first time being a head coach, and it was in a very tough situation. Now, when Vrabel comes in, he'll still be in a tough situation, but at least he has the experience of being a head coach of the NFL.
In a
which-
tough situation.
Exactly, which I think would help him greatly. So I actually do not hate that pick of Mike Vrabel.
I mean, I before we started this video had Vrabel as my number one choice for the Jets
Yeah.
because of what you've said.
Mhm.
I think he fits exactly what they're looking for, and he's been in bad situations. And he turned the Titans were not a good team. It was Ryan Tannehill and Derrick. I mean, Derrick Henry obviously was good, but like,
He was aging.
It was Ryan Tannehill.
Yeah.
He established a really good defense with that team, and they won a lot of football games by running the ball and having a good defense. I think starting off as a brand new, flipping a team around. You have a good running back in Breece Hall. You have a good running back in what's his name too, the other guy they got, the young dude from Wisconsin.
Braylon Allen.
Braylon Allen. You have a 1-2 punch already there.
Yeah.
All you need to do is
That's
fix up
the
that
thing,
O-line.
and we'll talk about this in the next video. Make sure you watch our next video when we talk about NFL news. I think it was. I don't blame Joe Douglas. I don't think this was his
No.
fault at all. Your job as a GM.
I talked about this yesterday with somebody.
Mhm.
Joe Douglas put a roster
He
that
did
was
his job.
supposed
I
to
was
be
literally
good
just
together.
about to say that.
Yeah.
Your job as a GM is to bring talent to the team. When you look at that team on paper, that's a very talented team.
Yeah.
Extremely talented team. Joe Douglas did his job. The Jets do not suck because of Joe Douglas. And in fact, I will go as far to say I really hope this offseason a team hires him to be their GM. Because I thought he did a really good job
He did
with the Jets.
as best as he could with the scenario he was in.
Exactly.
You have an owner that's wanting to tinker with every single move.
Exactly.
You can only do so much.
Yeah. I
He
really
did-
hope Joe Douglas gets into
He
the shot.
appeased them to a certain degree to keep him around for a while,
Mhm.
but then it came out that they wanted to bench Aaron week 4, which would have done nothing. Like, what are you doing in that scenario?
Makes
Like,
zero sense. And again, we'll talk about
and it-
this a lot.
but it
next
puts
video.
Joe Douglas in a scenario where Woody Johnson has an out either way. If you don't bench him, I'm firing you. If you bench him, the team's going to look bad. I'm still firing you.
Yeah,
It's a lose-lose. Like you
Absolutely.
can't win in that scenario.
absolutely.
All right, next team we're going to talk about with the open vacancies, the Saints.
Mm-hmm.
They got Coach Riz right now.
The Rizzler.
The Saints, I don't know why, just seem like a team that would keep an interim head coach.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised when you look at the hiring of Dennis Allen. He wasn't
They
the
like-
interim head coach, but he was still within the building.
They like to keep people from within.
Exactly. Could they keep Big Rizzler? Maybe. However, I think I don't know this, and I know it probably sound really dumb. Do you know what position he was coaching?
Special teams.
Special team. Those actually tend to work out pretty well a lot of times. So I mean, maybe they keep Rizzler. If not, I think they should go for a pretty offensive minded coach, if I'm being honest with you. See what you could get out of Derek Carr. I don't think you could get much out. See what you could get out of him. I think worst case scenario, you at least get a guy to learn under Derek Carr or be under Derek Carr. Maybe a Bryce Young. I don't know. To just kind of learn and help develop for later years.
Do you have a name in mind? Because I do.
I mean, there's the obvious ones like Ben Johnson and like
I'm taking it a step farther because I don't think Ben Johnson, to be completely fair,
I don't think he'd want this job.
he wouldn't want this
I
job.
agree.
He has better options out there.
I agree. Yeah.
The name that I really like in this situation is Bobby Slowick, the Texans offensive coordinator.
However,
You give he's
agree.
a young coach,
Yes,
giving him a chance with a complete. You're going to have to reset this roster.
I agree. But I will. The only thing that scares me with that, and maybe I'm wrong, at least to me, it feels like the Texans' offense isn't clicking as much as it was last year. Maybe that's just me. I don't know, but that's
You
that.
know who is? Taysom Hill.
I mean, I don't know. I just think that part kind of pushes me off a little with Bobby Slowick.
About the Texans you're talking about? The offenses
Yeah.
with the Texans? Yeah. I think you have a point, but looking at it big picture, the Texans have dealt with so many injuries this year where it's kind of hard. Like you have Tank for like 5 weeks, you had Tank Dell as your number one receiver.
Yeah.
You're not going to survive in the NFL with a 5'8" guy as your number one receiver.
Yeah, I agree.
I just think you give him a chance. Like he's a young coach. I'm not saying he's Sean McVay, not by any stretch of the means. But a guy like Sean McVay went to the Rams. The Rams were a laughingstock. You gave a young coach complete control of an offense to make it his own team, his own offense, and to put a stamp on that team. Why not give it to him? Like I said, you're going to have to reset that roster regardless. Why not let him bring in a quarterback?
Their cap situation is still bad.
It's still bad, but it's better than what it was.
I mean,
but that's what I'm saying. Like,
I hope you're better than just complete dirt.
That's
what it was.
They have draft picks. They're 100% cutting Alvin Kamara this year.
You think so?
Yes. No chance he stays. Chris Olave might not be in the league next year after all the stuff that's been happening with him and the concussion stuff. Like, legit. Like, outside of AK and Olave, you naming a lot of players on that team? How many people are making money at that point then? That's what I'm saying. Like, you're going to have some money to throw around.
Yeah.
And forget about the money. Bring in some young players in the draft and let them develop. And if, guess what, they don't work, you don't have to pay them.
Yeah.
If you bring in a vet and you have to pay them, but you end up firing your coach in 2 years, you're stuck with that quarterback.
That's the whole point.
And the cycle
you
continues.
Hire someone that you hope you don't fire in 2 years.
Well, that's what I'm saying is you bring in a coach like Slowick, let him pick the quarterback he wants to play with. He wants it, and then it becomes his guy.
The thing is, I don't see that happening with this class.
Yeah, I mean,
that's honestly, and this is for preference for the rest of the video. It's going to be really hard.
Yeah, we aren't huge fans of this class.
No, at least quarterback-wise. Quarterback-wise, we are not very big fans of this class.
I don't think for certain either of us could say we would take any of these quarterbacks with the certainty of them being your next franchise quarterback.
No.
I don't think there's a single guy.
I think all these quarterbacks have a lot more question marks than previous years.
Yeah.
But we're kind of off topic here. But, yeah, I would go with the offensive-minded head coach.
I like Slowick. You not as much.
Yeah, just because, at least to me, it doesn't feel like the offense is clicking as much, and that kind of pushes me off just a little bit.
Yeah. Next, we're moving on to the first team that has a head coach. But I think this is the most likely head coach to get fired.
Probably.
Matt Eberflus with the Chicago Bears.
Yeah, I mean,
he's been given too many chances.
Yeah, I agree. Personal note, take the GM as well. That's just me. But, yeah, I mean, with Matt Eberflus, I think he's as good as gone at this point.
None of the players want to play for him.
You got Caleb, first overall pick. Obviously, at least to me, I feel like you should probably go offensive-minded head coach.
Yeah.
I think most likely case scenario, Ben Johnson goes to Chicago. I think Chicago will be willing to pay whatever money he wants to take him out of their divisional rival and just really build something with Caleb.
I totally agree. Ben Johnson to the Chicago Bears, to me, is easy money. Like,
it just makes the most sense as of now.
That should be the easiest coaching prediction to be made right
now. However,
now.
For all we know, Ben Johnson's not interested. Because guess what? If Ben Johnson's not interested, it's not happening.
Yeah.
So we don't know. Maybe he has so much respect for like Dan Campbell and what they built that he kind of is like, I just don't want to deal with that. I want to have an opportunity elsewhere.
I just think how many opportunities are you going to get to say, I get to coach the number one pick in the NFL draft?
Fair point, but yeah, no. I don't even have a rebuttal. That's a very fair point.
With a solid roster.
I was going to say, because I'm looking at the rest of the teams, and it's like the teams that don't have an NFL quarterback on their roster right now, it's like, okay, but do I trust this draft class to really mold my own quarterback? So, yeah, Ben Johnson seems like the most likely scenario here.
Next, the Dallas Cowboys and Mike McCarthy. They lose to the Commanders this week. I think he gets fired next week.
Really?
Yeah. Why not?
No, I see your point.
Honestly, why didn't they fire him after the Texans game?
I'm not saying Mike McCarthy's a great head coach. I'm not saying that at all. However, I do think he gets overblamed for a lot of things.
And he gets to work with the worst GM in the
Exactly. League. I think, dude, like, that roster sucks. No one's winning with that.
Again, I say this
maybe
every
other than
week.
like Mike Tomlin.
I say this every week. How did people think that team was going to be good?
It's so bad. That seems bad.
Like, it was such common sense. Even you were like,
I thought
you
they
really
could
think
finish
the Cowboys
second.
are going to be that bad?
I was surprised when you said they were finished last. I was very surprised by
If
last.
the Giants could just win a game against the Panthers, the Cowboys would be in last place. Right?
Yeah, good point. Yeah,
They're that close from being in last place.
I didn't think they would be last, but I definitely didn't think they would be
Now-
like amazing.
Did Dak Prescott's injury have a lot to do with them being as bad as they are? Sure.
Yes,
I'm still taking it though because no
no,
one
you
had
should
the,
take it. You
nobody
should
had
take
the
that.
Cowboys being this bad this year.
Other than you. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Back to the head coaching part. I think they go very defensive heavy. I think if I'm Mike Vrabel, I want to go to Dallas just because I get a chance to coach Micah Parsons.
I feel you.
You're telling me I get to coach I won't say the best. There's argument he probably will be the best someday. Why wouldn't you want that opportunity to coach him?
I get you. Yeah.
Who else would you say, or what would your path for filling that void be?
I definitely agree. I would definitely go defensive minded. Absolutely.
And you just bring in a
I wouldn't
good
be
offense coordinator.
I wouldn't be surprised if like a Brian Flores gets,
Yeah.
some heavy consideration there. I feel like that would be a really good option. Again, I feel like coaches other than who's that one idiot that got fired from the Raiders? Josh McDaniels.
Yeah.
Other than Josh McDaniels, I feel like it's a pretty good advantage when a coach is on his second turn because I feel like you learn a lot from that first one. You kind of know where you made your mistakes and how to just approach it differently. So I do think Brian Flores should absolutely get some strong consideration here for Dallas.
I agree. I would even go to say Brian Flores, and you throw Vance Joseph in there.
Why not? Yeah,
I
absolutely.
think both those guys deserve another chance,
Yeah,
especially what they're doing with their defenses this year.
exactly. Yeah.
Next team, the Giants.
Yeah, so there's been reports allegedly, don't know if this is true or not, allegedly Brian Dable's safe for next year. Don't know if that's true or not. I think it's BS. I think they should fire him, but we'll see. What would you do in this situation?
What I'm not doing is hiring another Bills offensive coordinator. Stay away from Joe Brady, please. He's been really good for the Bills this year, but don't do it again.
Yeah,
You can't
spice it up a bit.
It's a little different when you got Josh Allen playing quarterback, and you can do a lot more as a coordinator.
Yeah.
Brian Dable thought he could do that with Daniel Jones. Obviously, turns out he couldn't do it with Daniel
called
Jones.
it from the beginning.
So whatever you do not go after Joe Brady.
Called it on draft night. He wasn't going to be good.
If I'm the Giants, I think I'm going offensive here. I'm going an offensive-minded coach.
Okay.
You have a solid defense already. I don't think you need to have that be the main focus of a head coach.
Mhm.
The main thing about the Giants is fixing that offense.
Yes.
That offense is a huge problem. I think you have to bring in an offensive-minded head coach, whether that be Ben Johnson, whether that be Bobby Slowick, whether that be, I'm going to throw Joe Brady in there. I really hope they don't do it, but I think he gets consideration at how well the Bills have played with a lesser roster this year.
Yeah.
I don't know. Who else do you think could get thrown in there?
I'm actually going the exact opposite direction of you. I'm not necessarily mad at wanting an offensive-minded head coach. I could definitely see the approach there. The guy I'm about to say, I could see him going to the team we're going to talk about next after this one little sneak peek.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Why not? Bill Belichick makes his return to the Giants.
If you can't beat him, join him.
Look, he's won them Super Bowls.
That's what I'm saying.
Like,
If you can't beat him, join him.
no, as a DC, he's won them.
No,
Super
I know,
Bowls.
and he's won them Super Bowls against them.
I get that, but I feel like why not? Why? What do you have to lose from hiring Bill Belichick?
Yeah.
That's just my thought process.
I don't
How
get it.
realistic that is, I don't know. But if I'm the Giants, why wouldn't I call Bill Belichick? That's just my thought.
I think he's going to be every team's first call.
Especially with that good defensive line,
Yeah.
that's a promising defense there.
I think he's
Why
going to
not?
be every team's first call. I really do.
I mean,
Will he
it's
pick
not
up the
bad idea.
phone half the time? Probably
No.
not.
He's going to be very selective, and as he should be.
Yeah. Wow. Well, we have very different opinions about the Giants.
Which is fun because they could really go any direction
Yeah.
at this point.
Next team is the Jacksonville Jaguars. Doug Peterson, I'm shocked hasn't been fired yet.
Same.
Like he's been the worst coach in the NFL so far.
They have the
this year.
first overall pick right now, as things stand right now. So
with a guy that thought that the Jags were a serious playoff.
you had him
threat.
as your coach of the year in our preseason predictions.
I did. That was the most thing I've been wrong about this year.
Probably.
The worst thing I've been wrong about this year.
Probably.
Really bad. I had him as the coach of the year, and he's probably the worst coach of the year.
Yeah. I mean, at least he's still employed. You can't say that about two other guys.
Yeah. If I'm the Jaguars, like, I don't even know.
I know. Bill Belichick! There's been reports, again, how true this is, I don't know. There's been reports that Belichick is, one, interested in Jacksonville. Two, he wants to kind of see how the QB situation is handled and preferred by the owner. But there's already rumors that Belichick might be interested in Jacksonville. I don't see why not. Like, I think that would be a great hire.
All right, I have my answer.
What is
If
it?
I'm Jacksonville, I'm calling our boy Kurt Signetti.
Wow.
Why
What
not?
do you know?
Why not? Let him, like, what is the worst possible thing? They have Doug Peterson as their head coach, who has won a Super Bowl, right?
Yeah.
He's won a Super Bowl in
Yeah.
this league.
Mhm.
And they're awful. Why not give Kurt Signetti? If Kurt Signetti goes out and, please God, let this happen, wins the national championship somehow, how he isn't a phone call or gets multiple head coaching NFL interviews, there's something wrong with people. Like,
Look,
the
I
dude
would,
just wins.
before I call Signetti, I would want to see him do it for one more season. Show me that this isn't.
He's done
Look,
it
I
for
get that. And
three
look, you know
programs.
how much I love Signetti. I love Signetti.
If he wins is the college football playoff in his first season with Indiana,
Look, we're
there
saying
is
ifs. I'm
nothing.
talking about
There
right
is
now.
nothing else I need
You're,
to see.
you're talking too much
I
of
know,
the future.
but
I'm
I'm
talking
just
about
saying-
right
yeah,
now.
this whole thing is ifs and buts.
Yeah, but like we know these guys are pretty much
No, I know, but like,
fired.
we don't know if the other guys are hired. I'm saying this scenario happens. Indiana wins the national championship. You're telling me I need to see another season of that?
Yeah.
No.
Oh, wait. If they win the Natty, if they win the
No.
Natty, it's kind of a different
There's
story.
no choice.
But like, I think we're kind of going too far with this.
I am calling Kurt Signetti. If they were to make it to the second round of the college football playoff, I'm calling Kurt Signetti. Indiana. We're talking about Indiana.
Yeah. Look, like I said, you know how much I love Signetti. I'm a big believer in Signetti. I think Belichick would be the better option, in my opinion.
Probably.
Yeah,
But I'm trying to have some fun here, and we're going to have
guess.
Sigsonville.
Oh my God! They should hire Signetti. No, I'm kidding. No. That's a cool nickname. But like,
Sigsonville?
that's a cool nickname. Belichick should be the first call.
Probably. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
But you're wrong, because the Las Vegas Raiders, owned by Tom Brady, are calling Bill Belichick to become the next
Look,
head coach for the
that's
Vegas
a good
Raiders.
transition. This one's a big question mark. Antonio Pierce. Is he safe? Probably. But the fact that we're having question marks about it,
Now,
we should probably talk about it.
siding with Pierce,
Mhm.
he hasn't been dealt a very good hand.
No.
They haven't addressed the quarterback position at all. They
Jo-
said,
Josh
gonna-
McDaniels is still written all
Yeah.
over that building and
Yeah.
roster. So it's
But-
really not too much of his
but-
fault.
you're telling me Tom Brady isn't going to give his old pal Bill a call and be like, hey, is there a chance?
I would enjoy that. Can you imagine Bill in Vegas?
Can you imagine Tom
With
Brady
Tom
as
as his
Bill's
boss?
I
It's
think it's
poetic.
written in the stars.
It's poetic, really.
It's written in the stars.
Yeah.
Tom is standing next to Belichick holding a Super Bowl trophy, and then the game
And
shuts
Tom's the one in the suit.
and then the
like,
game shuts off because they were playing Madden, because that would never happen.
and then the world explodes.
And then they wake up.
Yeah. Yeah, thank you guys for watching this video. Did you have anything?
Did you even
wanted to
say who you said the Raiders would go after?
I
You don't hate it, do you?
No,
Not at all.
honestly, once you brought up Belichick, like, I know this is the third time I've said Belichick. I wasn't gonna say Belichick for the Raiders.
Now here, and I do have a second answer in case
Mhm.
you went first and picked Belichick again.
Mm-hmm.
Deion Sanders. They're the only team I think right now, currently in the draft, are 100% drafting a quarterback in the first round.
They have no choice.
They have to.
You have to. Yeah.
Why wouldn't they take Deion?
You know what? I think.
Or why wouldn't they take Shador? And why wouldn't Deion follow him?
Yeah,
That would be my other pick.
it's not bad. It's
And
kind
it's
of
Vegas.
I would say it's kind of Hollywood like, but
It's
like
Vegas.
it's not the worst.
You got Tom
prediction.
Brady up top. You got Deion and Shador. Like, that's just
Not
Hollywood.
Shiloh.
That's no.
We don't want Shiloh.
No Shiloh.
No Shiloh.
Or his son doing the media stuff.
Oh no, he's not bad at media.
Yeah, I know, but I hate him. Because why are you touching ball kids?
Fair point.
Not okay. Whoa.
Whoa,
Whoa.
whoa! This is that kind of show.
The ball boys.
Yes.
You can't be messing with them.
Don't be touching that.
They just want the ball back.
Yeah.
You can't steal their ball. That's their
Yeah.
ball.
I've literally seen it on sidelines, like when we've worked.
I've
games.
handed them the ball back if the ball
Yeah.
rolls
It happens
over
all the
to me.
time. Yeah.
He lost it for no reason. Regardless, we're off topic. Deion to the Raiders or Bill Belichick to the Raiders are my
Either
picks.
way, it's perfect Hollywood script.
Yep. A lot of uncertainty. in
Anything
this.
else you want to add?
I was just gonna say a lot of uncertainty in this. Don't take any of this with a grain of salt.
No.
A lot of this can change. More head coaches probably
I
will
would
be added
say,
to
I
this
promise
list.
you, by next week, half of this is going to be like, well, there's no way that's possible.
The
So.
Giants go on a winning streak and win the NFC East. No, I'm just kidding.
Very
That's
unlikely.
Not gonna happen. Tommy
But-
DeVito is the answer. We're leading up to our next video.
Yeah.
So
Make
you
sure
should
you watch our next video.
you should watch this because Tommy DeVito's winning MVP.
Find out if we think that or not. Thank you for joining us. Make sure you follow us on TikTok at PM Football Podcast as well as on Twitter at PM Football Podcast. Comment if you agree with us, disagree with us. Just know if you disagree with us, you're probably wrong.
You're very wrong.
So, yeah, like, subscribe, share the video, and we'll see you next time.
See ya.